The peace of Christ be with you. This is the Midweek Reflection for Third Reformed Church on Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. So as we continue to adjust and adapt our lives in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we're looking for new ways to stay connected as a congregation so that we can continue to grow in faith and in community, even in this period of time when we're unable to do the primary thing we do as community, which is to gather for worship and in shared spaces of food and play and learning. And so our hope is that this online space can fill some of that role in our lives during this period. So here on the church's YouTube channel, we're going to be releasing Midweek Reflections on Wednesday each week, which is an opportunity to just reflect together a little bit on this unprecedented experience that we're going through together and to be intentional about how we navigate these uncharted waters. On Sunday, we'll be posting a Sunday message along with a guide for in-home worship so that you on your own at home or with a family or with a smaller group of people can remain connected to the body of Christ even when we're not able to gather in the sanctuary as that body. And our hope is that in the comment threads below these videos, there'll be an opportunity to engage with one another, to share questions, to do some shared learning, and stay connected, even as we engage in these practices of social distancing. So in this first midweek reflection, I'd love to think together a little bit about the ways in which this great pause that we're experiencing as a society right now might be experienced not just as a disruption in our life, but as an opportunity for growth. Because I really do believe that some good fruit can come out of this experience if we're intentional about it. So I know that for some of us, our lives are already marked by a sense of isolation, and that this period could make that sense of loneliness even deeper for us. And if that's where you're at, I would really encourage you to reach out and make contact. Get a hold of a friend, some family members, get a hold of me, Pastor Ralph, or some of the care elders or the other staff here at church, so that you can remain connected and know that you're not alone in the midst of this. And that contact information you can find at thirdreformedchurchgr.org. But I know for many of us, this feels like a drastic change from the pace at which our lives are typically lived at. For most of us, modern life moves at a relentless pace. And no matter how much we might desire to have some margins around the story of our life, everything gets filled up out to the edges. We have that conversation a lot here as a staff and as leadership at the church as we think about what it means to do ministry and to be a part of a church family in this modern world, especially if you're working and raising little kids. It's really easy to end up in that space where it feels like your life is overcommitted, overscheduled, where the stress continues to press in, and where you don't find yourself experiencing the kind of connection that you long to experience as spouses, as families, in your relationship with God, and even with your own interior life. And so in some ways, these efforts to do closures of business and practice social distancing are requiring us to do that which we often do not choose to do for ourselves. And so for me, that leaves me wondering what you do to fill this space now that's opened up in our lives, not by our own intention. So it could be easy to fill this space with just mindless consumption of Netflix or entertainment that doesn't really do anything intentional around connection. It's also easy to fill our lives with around-the-clock monitoring of cable news or social media scrolling or article reading about the pandemic. And I would certainly encourage you that that is not a healthy choice for our mental health. It's not good for us to remain perpetually connected to input around this pandemic and the threats that it poses to us as a society. It's good to be informed, but not obsessively so. And so I wonder, what would it look like to have some intentionality in this space? To turn off the news, to put away our phones, to disengage from some of that external input, and to really focus in on the things that are essential for us in this period of time. What are the ways that we could find new points of connection as families, as couples, as followers of Jesus in our own prayer life even? How can you build practices into this time that allow you to settle into this space and open yourself to that which God may want to do in you and through you? It's interesting to me that I've already had some conversations with people who are saying, I'm just kind of pulling my hair out being stuck at home or having the kids home from school. I'm not sure what to do. And that's really intriguing to me, because I think oftentimes when we think about the things that keep us from being connected to God and to others, we think about those external forces, the stressors, the noise, the busyness that's out there in the world. But what many of us are experiencing, maybe for the first time, is that even when you remove all those external factors, there can be an internal busyness, hecticness, noisiness within our own spirits, within our own hearts, within our own minds, that prevent us from really experiencing the kind of connection we long for. And so this week, I would love to invite some conversation in the comment thread below. What are some of the ways that you're being intentional with this new space that's opened up in our lives to make connections with God, with yourself, with others? What are some of the patterns that you're building into your daily rhythms that allow you to maybe experience some new things? Are there ways that you as a family can get into the kitchen and share the act of making a meal and eating it together around a table in a way that you haven't maybe for weeks or months? Are there new ways that you as spouses can engage with one another and really take this opportunity to not just do what you have to do to get through this great disruption, but to really experience it as an invitation to Sabbath, to renewal, to reconnection in a way that our daily modern lives don't often afford us. So leave some comments below, get in touch with me, let me know what you're thinking about these themes, and let's help each other be intentional about using this great pause as an opportunity for growth and producing some good things and some new rhythms and patterns in our life. And let's keep reminding each other that we're not alone in it. So until we can gather together in person again, may the peace of Christ be with you, church.